Imagine this. You're in the middle of a conversation with someone you care about. Maybe it's a partner, a friend, or a family member. As they speak, you nod and respond, but your mind, it's already racing ahead, thinking about what you'll say next, silently judging their words, or perhaps wandering off entirely. Sound familiar? Now picture this instead. You're fully present. You're not just hearing them, but truly listening. You notice the emotion behind their words, the subtle pauses in their voice. You're not preparing a rebuttal, offering advice, or waiting for your turn to speak. You're just there. This one habit, simple but revolutionary, can shift the course of any relationship in your life. And the best part, it's grounded in an ancient philosophy that has withstood the test of time: Stoicism. The Stoics weren't just thinkers, they were practitioners of profound simplicity. Epictetus, one of their greatest teachers, famously said, "Nature gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, so we can listen more and speak less." In a world where we're constantly rushing, distracted by technology, or focused on proving our point, the ability to truly listen has become rare and precious. It's an act of generosity, of love, and of restraint. It's a gift we can give to others and ourselves. What if this simple shift could transform your relationships? What if being fully present, listening without judgment, could heal wounds, deepen bonds, and create connections you didn't think possible? It's not just a habit, it's a way of being, and it starts here. Lesson 1. Listen more, speak less. In the noise of modern life, we've forgotten one of the simplest truths about connection. Relationships flourish when we listen. Not the half-hearted, distracted listening we so often fall into, but a focused, present, and intentional kind. Stoicism reminds us that the key to understanding others and ourselves is found in the moments we choose to stay quiet and absorb what's being said. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher known for his practical wisdom, taught that controlling our impulses, especially the urge to dominate a conversation, is a hallmark of wisdom. He observed that while speaking can be an act of expression, listening is an act of care. It's easy to speak, to argue, to interject our opinions, but it takes discipline to truly listen, to resist interrupting, and to prioritize understanding over being understood. Think about the last time you felt genuinely heard. Maybe someone leaned in, made eye contact, and let you pour your heart out without judgment or interruption. How did that feel? Safe, valued, like you mattered? That's the power of listening. When we offer the same to others, we're not just creating space for them, we're reinforcing the foundation of trust and respect. Listening doesn't mean passively agreeing or silencing yourself. It means approaching conversations with curiosity rather than defensiveness, seeking to understand rather than to prove a point. The Stoics remind us that every person we meet knows something we don't, and by listening, we grow not only in empathy, but also in wisdom. So, the next time you're in a conversation, resist the urge to fill every silence with your voice. Instead, lean into the moment, nod, reflect, and let the other person know they're heard. You'll find that listening, as simple as it sounds, can transform conflicts into collaboration, misunderstandings into clarity, and shallow exchanges into meaningful connections. This habit may not come easily, but with practice it will become second nature. And with it, your relationships, personal, professional, and everything in between, will never be the same. Lesson 2. Master the pause before reacting. How many times have you regretted words spoken in the heat of the moment? A tense conversation, an unexpected criticism, or a frustrating situation can trigger a knee-jerk reaction. Sharp words, defensive retorts, or actions driven by emotion rather than reason. The Stoics understood this all too well and taught the invaluable habit of pausing before reacting. This small, deliberate pause is the space where better relationships and a better self are built. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, observed, Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power. The ability to pause is an expression of self-mastery. It's the moment when you reclaim control over your emotions instead of letting them control you. Pausing doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or ignoring them. It means giving yourself a moment to choose how to respond thoughtfully instead of impulsively. Imagine you're in a heated argument with someone you care about. The words are flying, tempers are high, and suddenly they say something that hits a nerve. Your instinct might be to fire back immediately with something equally cutting. But what if you paused instead? In that moment, you could ask yourself, why do I feel this way? What's my goal here? Connection or winning? Will my next words help or hurt? That brief pause allows reason to intervene and prevents the kind of damage that words spoken in anger can cause. This practice isn't about staying silent forever. It's about choosing your words and actions with care. The Stoics knew that a single reaction could make or break a relationship. By mastering the pause, you not only preserve harmony in your interactions, but also demonstrate respect for yourself and the other person. Pausing takes practice. It's not easy to override the instinct to lash out or defend yourself, especially in emotionally charged situations. But every time you succeed, you strengthen your ability to respond with wisdom and kindness. Over time, this small act of self-restraint can lead to deeper connections, greater trust, and relationships built on mutual understanding rather than conflict. Lesson 3. Let go of the need to always be right. One of the most destructive forces in any relationship is the relentless need to be right. Whether it's an argument with a partner, a disagreement with a friend, or a debate with a colleague, clinging to the need to prove your point often leads to resentment, frustration, and distance. The Stoics believed that this desire to always be correct stems not from strength, but from insecurity. To foster healthier and more meaningful relationships, we must learn to let go of the compulsion to win every argument. Epictetus wisely stated, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This Stoic insight invites us to question our obsession with being right. Why do we feel such urgency to defend our opinions at all costs? Is it pride, fear of looking weak? The truth is, insisting on being right rarely strengthens relationships. Instead, it puts walls between people, turning conversations into battles where both sides lose. Letting go of this need doesn't mean abandoning your beliefs or values. It means prioritizing connection over competition. It's recognizing that understanding and empathy are far more valuable than proving a point. Imagine a disagreement where, instead of doubling down on your stance, you said, "I see your perspective, let's explore it further." That simple act can transform conflict into collaboration and foster a deeper sense of respect. The Stoics remind us that humility is a virtue. Being open to the possibility that you might be wrong or that multiple perspectives can coexist doesn't make you weak. On the contrary, it shows wisdom and strength. It allows you to learn, to grow, and to maintain harmony in your relationships. So, the next time you find yourself tempted to win an argument, pause and ask yourself, is being right worth the damage it might cause? More often than not, the answer will be no. By letting go of the need to always be right, you create space for understanding, compassion, and relationships that thrive on mutual respect rather than ego-driven conflicts. It's a simple shift, but one that can profoundly transform how you connect with others. Lesson 4. Stop assuming you know what others are thinking. How often do we jump to conclusions about what someone else is thinking or feeling? A text goes unanswered and we assume they're upset with us. A friend cancels plans, and we imagine they no longer value our time. The mind, left unchecked, spins stories that may have no basis in reality. This habit of assuming we know what's going on in someone else's mind can be incredibly damaging to relationships, creating unnecessary tension, resentment, and misunderstandings. The Stoics teach us to step back and challenge these assumptions, fostering clarity and harmony instead. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, advised, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." This wisdom applies perfectly to our habit of mind reading. We cannot control what others think or feel, nor do we have the ability to truly know their inner world unless they choose to share it. What we can control is how we respond, and whether we allow assumptions to dictate our actions. When we assume the worst about someone's thoughts, we act based on fiction, not fact. This leads to unnecessary arguments, hurt feelings, and emotional distance. Instead, the Stoic approach encourages us to replace assumptions with curiosity. If you're unsure how someone feels, ask. If you're tempted to draw conclusions about their silence or behavior, remind yourself that you don't have the full picture. By seeking understanding instead of jumping to conclusions, you create space for open communication and trust. Consider how much easier relationships could be if we simply stopped filling in the blanks with negativity. Imagine a situation where, instead of thinking, "They must be mad at me," you said, "Hey, I noticed you've been quiet. Everything okay?" That small shift transforms potential conflict into an opportunity for connection. Breaking the habit of assuming requires mindfulness and practice, but the rewards are immense. You free yourself from unnecessary stress and strengthen your relationships by replacing doubt with dialogue. In the process, you cultivate deeper bonds built on mutual understanding and respect. Lesson 5. Don't take things personally. It's human nature to take things personally. A curt remark from a friend, a colleague's lack of enthusiasm for your idea, or even a stranger's bad mood can feel like a reflection of our worth. But the Stoics remind us of a liberating truth. Most of what others say or do is not about us. It's about them. By learning not to take things personally, we free ourselves from unnecessary pain and cultivate healthier, more resilient relationships. Epictetus captured this wisdom beautifully. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. People's words and actions are shaped by their own experiences, emotions, and struggles. When someone is unkind or dismissive, it often has little to do with you and everything to do with what they're going through. This doesn't excuse bad behavior, but it allows us to see it for what it is. An expression of their reality, not a verdict on ours. Imagine a close friend forgets your birthday. It's easy to feel hurt, interpreting it as a sign they don't care. But what if they were overwhelmed with personal challenges? What if their forgetfulness had nothing to do with their love for you? By not taking it personally, you create space for empathy and understanding instead of letting resentment fester. This lesson isn't about dismissing your feelings or tolerating mistreatment. It's about recognizing that you control your interpretation of events. You can choose to assume the worst, or you can choose a perspective rooted in compassion and reason. When you stop taking things personally, you protect your peace and empower yourself to respond with wisdom rather than emotion. The next time someone's behavior stings, pause and ask yourself, could this be more about them than me? Most often, the answer will be yes. By letting go of personalizing every interaction, you'll find that your relationships improve naturally. You'll approach others with more patience, react with less defensiveness, and experience deeper connections built on mutual respect rather than misinterpretation. It's a habit that takes practice, but it can transform both your relationships and your sense of inner calm. Lesson 6. Choose your battles wisely. Not every disagreement needs to be a debate, and not every wrong needs to be righted. One of the greatest lessons from Stoic philosophy is the importance of discernment. learning to focus your energy on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. When applied to relationships, this principle becomes a powerful tool for preserving peace and deepening connection. The Stoics teach us to choose our battles wisely, recognizing that not every slight or difference in opinion warrants a response. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion. Keep in mind how fast things pass by and are gone, those that are now and those to come." In other words, many of the things we obsess over are fleeting, and most conflicts lose their significance when viewed through the lens of time. Ask yourself, will this issue matter in a day, a week, or a year? If the answer is no, is it worth the energy and strain on the relationship? Consider an argument over something trivial, like how a task should be done, or a comment taken out of context. It's easy to get swept up in proving a point, but at what cost? Relationships are not about keeping score or asserting dominance. They're about connection, respect, and shared values. When you prioritize winning small battles, you risk losing the bigger picture, a harmonious and meaningful relationship. This doesn't mean avoiding all conflict or suppressing your feelings. Some battles are worth fighting, especially when they involve boundaries, respect, or deeply held values. But the key is discernment. By pausing and reflecting on the importance of the issue at hand, you can approach conflict thoughtfully, addressing what truly matters while letting go of what doesn't. Choosing your battles wisely is a practice of humility and wisdom. It teaches you to step back, let go of ego, and prioritize the well-being of your relationships. Over time, you'll find that many disagreements simply don't need to happen, and the ones that do can be navigated with greater clarity and care. It's a small shift that creates lasting harmony. Lesson 7. Practice gratitude and appreciation. In the hustle of daily life, it's easy to overlook the simple joys and the people who contribute to them. We often take for granted those closest to us, assuming they know how we feel. However, the Stoics emphasize the importance of gratitude, not just as a fleeting emotion, but as a deliberate practice that enriches our relationships and our own well-being. By consciously expressing appreciation, we foster deeper connections and cultivate a mindset that recognizes the value in others and the world around us. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." Gratitude shifts our focus from what's lacking to what we have, from complaints to compliments. In relationships, this means acknowledging the efforts, kindnesses, and virtues of others, no matter how small they may seem. It's telling your friend how much their support means to you, thanking your partner for their everyday acts of love, or appreciating a colleague's hard work. These expressions strengthen bonds and make others feel seen and valued. Practicing gratitude also transforms how we perceive challenges within relationships. Instead of fixating on annoyances or flaws, we begin to appreciate the complexity and humanity of those we care about. This doesn't mean ignoring issues that need addressing, but approaching them from a place of understanding rather than criticism. Gratitude creates a foundation of positivity that makes navigating conflicts easier and more constructive. Moreover, gratitude isn't just beneficial for those we direct it toward, it also enhances our own happiness. Modern psychology echoes what the Stoics knew centuries ago. Regularly practicing gratitude leads to increased optimism, reduced stress, and a greater sense of fulfillment. When we make a habit of recognizing the good, we train our minds to seek it out, creating a positive feedback loop that uplifts both ourselves and those around us. To incorporate this Stoic habit into your life, start by setting aside a few moments each day to reflect on what you're grateful for in your relationships. Consider keeping a gratitude journal or simply making a mental note. More importantly, express it. Share your appreciation openly and sincerely. It might feel awkward at first, especially if you're not used to it, but with practice it becomes natural. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius advised, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Extending this thought to the people in your life can transform not only your relationships, but also your entire outlook. Gratitude is a simple habit with profound effects, a cornerstone of Stoic practice that holds the power to improve any relationship profoundly. As we've journeyed through these timeless Stoic lessons, one truth becomes clear. The way we navigate relationships says as much about us as it does about the people in our lives. The wisdom of the Stoics, listening more, letting go of the need to control, practicing patience and leading with kindness, offers us a blueprint, not just for better relationships, but for a richer, more meaningful life. But here's the twist. These lessons only work if you take action. Philosophy isn't just something you read about, it's something you live. So, here's the challenge. Pick just one of these lessons and practice it today. Maybe you'll pause before reacting to an argument. Maybe you'll choose to appreciate someone close to you in a way they've never expected. Or maybe, just maybe, you'll let go of an old grudge and feel the freedom that comes with it. And now, it's your turn. What's your takeaway from these Stoic principles? Did one of these lessons hit home for you in a way you didn't expect? Or maybe it reminded you of something you've been meaning to do in your own relationships, but haven't yet? Drop a comment below and share your insights. Your unique perspective could spark a new idea for someone else, just as Stoicism has done for centuries.